Meanwhile, there's another issue that's looming that maybe Donald Trump comes in and swoops in and wins a bunch of young people over, and that is the TikTok ban that's looming. Here's a statement from here's the CEO of TikTok talking about it. You should understand, this is a massive topic for Gen Z, and they are up in arms about this. Here's the TikTok CEO talking about it right now.
As you know, we have been fighting to protect the constitutional right to free speech for the more than 170 million Americans who use our platform every day to connect, create, discover, and achieve their dreams. On behalf of everyone at TikTok and all our users across the country, I want to thank President Trump for his commitment to work with us to find a solution that keeps TikTok available in the United States. This is a strong stand for the First Amendment and against arbitrary censorship. We are grateful and pleased to have the support of a president who truly understands our platform, one who has used TikTok to express his own thoughts and perspectives, connecting with the world and generating more than 60 billion views of his content in the process.
So, of course, the big question is whether or not the parent company of TikTok, ByteDance, is willing to sell TikTok to a non-Chinese controlled company. And obviously, it's going to be, Congress passed that law, and Donald Trump wants to do something about it. It's going to be pretty difficult for him to just sort of wave a wand and do it. But he made a statement on the SCOTUS ruling confirming that upholding the congressional law, saying the Supreme Court decision was expected and everybody must respect it. My decision on TikTok will be made in the not too distant future, but I must have time to review the situation. Stay tuned. But as you point out, Rachel, he's made it big on TikTok, so he's eager to try to protect it.
Yeah, he wants different outlets to get his opinion out. One of the loudest voices opposing this, of course, are TikTok creators. There's tons of young people who are making a living off of creating content on TikTok, and so they're really upset about it. So are people who enjoy looking at the videos. And we had Jojo Scarlata and Nikki Scarlata. They're two, pretty big influencers on the TikTok platform. And here's what they told me about it.
Americans are going to consume content, whether that be on a different app or not. And RedNote is the #1 app in the App Store today. So it comes down to, if you're talking national security, if Americans are just going to go onto another app that's, say, quote unquote, is a Chinese Communist Party app, and they're going to consume and post content on that app, we're going to have the same situation if TikTok gets banned tomorrow. We're going to have the same situation in a couple of months. Gen Z's saying basically we had enough, we're going to consume content regardless. And I think we should listen to this generation because, it's the future.
If it was something as serious as a national security threat, I believe, it would be handled in a different manner. But the fact that, for example, there's another Chinese app making its way on the App Store the way it is, I believe it's more of a sensory issue than it is a security concern, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, they're wrong. I completely this isn't censoring at all. You can go on Instagram, you can go on any of the other apps and see the same 30-second people making fools of themselves and getting a lot of likes. But I'm not being mean about them. Here's the deal. This is where you have to have some intellectual integrity here. We're all really mad at President Biden because the law says you have to enforce the border. And he said, you know what? I don't want to. This law was passed, even if it was slid into a funding bill for Ukraine's war or Russia's war in Ukraine, even if this part is a part of a completely different bill, which is another topic we should separate. It's law. The Supreme Court says it's constitutional. Congress passed it. The executive branch can't just say, hey, we don't want to listen to the law, even if we don't like the law. It goes back to Congress. And it was a bipartisan Congress that passed it because they all love to spend our money.
Well, I think it's because censoring Americans and using national security as an excuse to do it has some bipartisan appeal in Congress. But this is what Rand Paul had to say. Now, I don't know. This was from a hearing with Kristi Noem. He wasn't necessarily talking about TikTok, but I think this sound from him, this quote from him, I'm going to play it right now, speaks to, I think, what people are concerned about, that national security is being used by the intel community through our government, through our laws, to control our thought instead of focusing on real threats. Listen.
DHS under the Biden administration has often used its vast powers to target Americans exercising their constitutional rights. It's become an agency more focused on policing speech, monitoring social media, and labeling political dissent as domestic terrorism than addressing genuine security threats.
You know, the annoying
Charlie,
part...
is the problem that they can't control, like, the government can control Facebook,
yep.
Can control Instagram, but they can't control TikTok. Is that really what the heart of the problem? Because why focus just on TikTok?
Yeah, it's such a great point. We saw the Biden administration bullying Facebook and other American tech companies into whether it was on COVID or election stuff, everything. And of course, the American tech companies completely folded and did whatever they wanted to do. And obviously, TikTok is not going to be bullied by the Biden administration. The one thing, though, that I've always kind of found a little bit annoying about the TikTok debate is if China is spying on the United States through TikTok, which it is, then why don't we also go after China? But it's like it's almost like that monster is so big that that the Biden administration and a lot of Democrats in particular don't want to take on the real fight.
I'm Steve Doocy.
I'm Brian Kilmeade.
And I'm Ainsley Earhart. And click here to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page to catch our hottest interviews and most compelling analysis.